What is your message to the man?
I don't have a message. I've had enough. Let me fight. Somebody. I'm not bothered who it is. Just let me fight.
495 days you've been the interim champ. How much longer are you willing to wait?
I just want to fight somebody. I'm a professional fighter and I want to fight somebody. I'm overweighting, to be honest. But whoever wants it, whether that's Jon Jones or somebody else, I will fight somebody.
Conversation we've had many times now with the Tom Aspinall Jon Jones fight. It's a bit different now, right? Because Jon's been tweeting a lot about the fact that he's told you his plans, he's ready to vacate the belt, and all the rest of it. What
He said he's ready to vacate the belt.
He said he doesn't care if you strip him, he would vacate it.
Crazy. I've been busy. I haven't been keeping up with the gossip. He comes back. He's either back today or came back yesterday or whenever he's in Thailand. So he's home. We'll be home tonight, Tuesday. We'll figure this out.
Is there anything that PFL or Francis could do to make that a realistic option for you guys, or are you fully focused on Aspinall?
Yeah, it's Aspinall's fight. We've been talking to this kid forever about it, and it's his fight. So you can't make people fight. Jon doesn't want to fight. Can't make him fight. We can try to make him fight. We can throw things at him that inspire him to want to fight, but we'll figure it out. I don't have.
Tom Aspinall has finally gained the confidence to ignore Jon Jones and take aim at the real culprit, Dana White. While Jones may be unwilling to fight, it's White who has refused to strip him of the belt. In the latest video on his YouTube channel, Aspinall criticized White for giving Jon Jones special treatment, and even went as far as insulting him.
We'll be home tonight, Tuesday. We'll figure this out.
But if he doesn't fight Tom Aspinall, and he does walk away, do you think he's ducked him? Would you?
Tom Aspinall's the guy. He's the guy. Listen, the guy wants to retire and doesn't want to fight. Nothing you do. I didn't want Habib to retire. I thought DC should have stayed in it longer. So it's none of my business. I'll do what I can to make the fight if we can. If he's talking that crazy. I didn't realize that.
It's crazy how Jon Jones is treated like he's untouchable. I wonder why a fighter that old is being protected like a child. Can that nonsense stop already? It's madness, from top to bottom. In the video, an unseen interviewer also asks Tom Aspinall what he would do if the protection around Jon Jones continues. He responds by saying he doesn't know, but it's clear the system is messy and corrupt. We'll just have to wait and see. There are lies everywhere, and he says he'll keep watching them until it's finally time for the truth. Coincidentally, Ariel Helwani just exposed part.
I feel like I've been very level-headed when it comes to Jon Jones and this whole situation, and not like taking the bait with the tweets and all that stuff. And like I said, I think we've been on top of the story from the beginning. And what did I say to all of you? What was it? 2 months ago now? 3 months ago? They got him the money. I'm not even going to call it fuck you money because as I've said from the beginning, he always deserved millions upon millions of dollars. It's not fuck you money. It's what he's owed.
Well, that's according to Ariel Helwani, who delivered a significant piece of news regarding the landscape of the potential Jones versus Aspinall bout. The Combat Sports reporter revealed that Jon Jones initially accepted the UFC's deal after they agreed to meet his massive demands, but he later went back on his word and backed out of the clash against Aspinall.
But, there was a back and forth. They got him that money. They finally got him that money. And he said yes. And then he said no. And since he said no, they've been trying to figure out a way to get him to do this fight. One last fight. He ain't budging. And he's been starting to give us some sort of indication, hint, that he is not interested. But right before 316, he gave us many indications. And when I say not interested, I don't mean...
On the Ariel Helwani show. On Monday, Helwani said that Dana White claimed Jon Jones was offered the deal and accepted it. But the problem is, he didn't tell the whole story. According to Helwani, Jones went back on his word and that part will eventually come out. White has tried to make the showdown happen, but Jones doesn't seem interested in fighting Tom Aspinall and would rather consider a bout against Francis Ngannou, who signed a multi-fight deal with PFL after leaving the UFC. Jones had seemingly retired before making a U-turn, But UFC CEO Dana White stated that the 37-year-old never mentioned retirement to him, and that his only interest was in matching him up against the British interim
Tom
champion.
waiting outside for me right now, and John, you let John do John. John's going to disappear. Not only will you not hear about him or what he's doing, neither will I. And then he will resurface, and he'll call, and we'll get it done.
Tom Aspinall is the guy, and if Jon Jones wants to retire and doesn't want to fight, there's nothing anyone can do, Dana White said. He added, I didn't want Khabib Nurmagomedov to retire, and I thought Daniel Cormier should have stayed in it longer, so it's none of my business. I'll do what I can to make the fight happen if possible, but if he's talking that crazy, I didn't realize it. Jones, who defeated Cyril Gane to win the vacant championship following Francis Ngannou's departure, hasn't fought since his third-round victory over Stipe Miocic at UFC 309 last November. As for Aspinall, he last defended his interim title against Curtis Blades in July.
Interested in fighting. I mean, not interested in fighting Tom Aspinall specifically. Let's go through the tweets, and then let's get to Dana White, all right? So he talks so much about Tom. And on the one hand, that could give you hope that he's building something, but I don't think he is. My boy's not as special as his fan base thinks he is. I've seen Tom get tapped out twice by different people. Cool. Here today, gone tomorrow. He likes to say this about the latest person that people think will be a good challenger for him because that's what we want. We want good challengers for champions.
However, Jon Jones has accused the UFC of failing to communicate his plans to fans, as he continues to face criticism for his apparent reluctance to fight Tom Aspinall. In November 2023, Aspinall won the interim heavyweight title after Jones sustained an injury and was unable to defend the regular belt against Stipe Miocic. A year later, Jones returned and retained his title against the heavyweight legend, but only after Aspinall successfully defended the interim title in July. Despite both champions being naturally lined up for a unification bout, the 37-year-old Jones has expressed little interest in facing the 32-year-old Brit. As a result, both the fighters and their respective titles remain in limbo, although UFC President Dana White promised earlier this month that he would soon announce the matchup. I don't have much fighting left in me. That's because I started at a very young age, competing at the highest level in the world, Jon Jones said. Once your reaction time starts to decline, it's gone. Your ability to see something coming and respond quickly fades. The UFC, Tom and I have a lot going on behind the scenes. They're one of the biggest organizations in sports, and right now, Tom and I have agreed to wait for the UFC to make their announcements. So, legally, I can't really talk about it.
That's because I started at a very young age at the highest level in the world. Once your reaction time starts to go, it's going. Like your ability to see something coming and react to it quick enough. The UFC, I and Tom, we all got a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. They're one of the biggest organizations in sports. Right now, Tom and I have agreed to wait for the UFC to make their announcement. So I legally can't really talk about it.
One former user recently wrote to Jon Jones, "Enjoying your last days as champ before being stripped of your title, I see, John." To that, the American replied, "Stripped. LOL. Do I come across as the type of person who cares about things like that?" Another user responded, "Yes. Otherwise you'd have vacated the belt a long time ago since you don't plan to fight Tom." Jones fired back again, saying, "Y'all barking up the wrong tree. I told the UFC my plans a long time ago. I have no clue why they haven't shared them with you guys."
It has been announced as a part owner. There was a bit of a chant in attendance. You know we love the Tommy Aspinall chant. Here's John reacting to a chant at the weigh-ins.
Yet, it has been announced that Jon Jones is now a part owner. And during the weigh-ins, there was a noticeable chant from the crowd. Yes, the familiar "We love Tommy Aspinall" chant. Here's John reacting to it live at the event, clearly hearing the support for his potential.
I think what it is being so good at what I do that it's just almost never enough. I'm very aware that that the Tom Aspinall is like it's making more headlines than sleeping. When I win, there's always an excuse. Well, oh, he really wasn't that.
When one fan asked, "What exactly are your plans?" Jon Jones responded, "To continue to monetize this amazing brand that I've created." Another pressed further, asking, "So are you fighting again or not? You are the current champion of the division." To which Jones replied, "Not a bad idea." The former two-time light heavyweight champion also fired back at a fan who told him to shut the hell up and fight, writing, "This attitude right here is making me a very wealthy man. This desperation is incredibly lucrative, so thank you. Keep it coming."
When I win, there's always an excuse. Well, oh, he really wasn't that well-rounded, and it's hard to compare to any other fighter because I don't think any other fighter in our sports history has ever had to deal with it. I just beat Cyril Gane, and we can go back in the time machine and hear the way that people talked about Gane. And then as soon as I beat him.
With the UFC having already announced main events for its pay-per-view cards in June, July, and August, along with a Mexico-centric event in September, a bout between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall is unlikely to take place before October. While many fans consider Jones the greatest mixed martial artist of all time, his career has been overshadowed by multiple failed drug tests and legal issues. Still, the American remains effectively unbeaten, with his only loss coming via disqualification in 2009. Meanwhile, Aspinall holds a 15-3 MMA record and is 8-1 in the UFC, with his sole promotional loss resulting from an injury. Impressively, all of his career victories have come by stoppage.
Talked about Gane. And then as soon as I beat him, he's like, oh, well, he wasn't that, or he's this, and so it's a very interesting place to be in, and it just is what it is.
In the UFC, Tom Aspinall holds the record for the shortest average fight time among athletes with 5 or more bouts. All of his wins in the promotion have come within the first 2 rounds, 7 in the first round, with 2 of those ending in under a minute. His decision to defend the interim belt was a rare move in the UFC, as the Wigan heavyweight chose to stay active during Jon Jones's absence. In that bout, Aspinall stopped Curtis Blades in just 60 seconds, avenging his injury-induced loss to the American in 2022. Determined to keep pushing for a fight with Jon Jones, Aspinall has continued his campaign for the undisputed UFC heavyweight championship by sharing a link on Instagram to a petition calling on the promotion to strip Jones of his title.
As far as Curtis Blades go, there was also a lot of people thinking it could have gone over a round and a half. And I mean, you don't like second rounds. Like, what do you have against second rounds, Tom Aspinall?
Absolutely nothing. His coach said in the build-up, we're going to drag him into deep water. We're going to drag him to later rounds. So I was preparing myself for the later rounds. You know what I mean? That was me. I was going slow in there, man. That wasn't me trying to knock him out at all. I never looked for the finish.
Tom Aspinall, 32, has held the interim heavyweight title for 18 months and was overlooked by Jon Jones as an opponent for his injury comeback last November, with the 37-year-old instead choosing to fight Stipe Miocic. 6 months later, Manchester's Aspinall has continued to express uncertainty about whether he will face Jones next. Frustrated UFC fans have taken matters into their own hands by launching a petition, now signed by over 150,000 people, urging the promotion to strip Jones of his title. Speaking from Thailand this week, Jones remained vague about his future, saying on Deep Cut with Vic Blends, "I don't know what life holds as far as fighting and competing."
Not at all. I never looked for the finish. I was like they're saying they're going to drag me into deep water. I'm going to look in the camera and say, somebody dragged me into deep water. I'm telling you, I want to feel what it's like. I want to see if I can swim or not. Jon Jones, if you can drag me there, take me there. Because right now, all these guys are saying it, but no one
There's
no
a
one
lot
can do
of
it.
great competition still in the UFC, Jon Jones said. "I do view myself as more than just a fighter. And being in my position, I feel like I have a lot more options than most fighters when it comes to leaving, returning, and things like that." Tom Aspinall, meanwhile, has defeated every fighter in the top 5 of the rankings except Frenchman Cyril Gane, who currently sits at number 2. Jones, known for teasing fans on social media, said last week that he had already informed the UFC of his plans and was unsure why the organization hadn't shared them publicly. Although he previously hinted at retirement, he also appeared to suggest he might be open to fighting in the UFC again. Widely regarded as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, MMA fighters of all time, Jones holds a professional record of 28 wins, 1 loss, and 1 no contest.
Mind there, Tommy. You see that? You're on his. You see that? You're on his mind.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable there.
Why are you such
a bit awkward?
You know what? He's right. You are an asshole, Tom. You are an asshole for that response.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's an asshole sometimes, especially me, so I don't take offense to it. But yeah, he didn't look uncomfortable to me. He looks a bit awkward.
Okay.
Jon Jones became the youngest UFC champion at age 23, a 2-weight title holder, and remains undefeated in 20 consecutive UFC fights, the longest unbeaten streak in the company's history. "I'm so connected to winning, it's probably not even healthy," Jones admitted. "I see fighters take losses, smile, hug their wives, and say, 'Better luck next time.' If I were to ever lose, I'd be devastated, angry, upset, and depressed." Despite an imminent challenge from interim champion Tom Aspinall, the legendary 2-weight champion hasn't fought since his UFC 309 victory over Stipe Miocic in November. Instead of accepting the unification bout, Jones has avoided the matchup and is now openly discussing retirement or potential fights against other opponents.
Someone says he was actually tapped once, you dumb F. Once, twice, to me, it really makes no difference. He's loving this. We keep going. Someone says you're scared. It really has nothing to do with fear. The question I ask my close friends and family is how much higher can a person like me keep climbing this sport? The goal is for athletes to build a brand and then take that brand
behind Tom Aspinall, who has consistently stated that he's chasing Jon Jones's belt, not just the fight itself. Over 185,000 people have signed a petition calling for the UFC to strip Jones of his title, with the campaign quickly approaching its goal of 200,000 signatures. Jon Jones is well aware of the uproar surrounding his status in the heavyweight division, as nearly a year has passed since his last title defense. He has previously acknowledged the petition and once again took the opportunity to mock fans, tweeting, "Instead of signing some petition, I'm going to need at least 205-page essays from TA fans around the world," poking fun at the 185,000-strong movement. So guys, subscribe to my channel for more new updates.